Welcome everybody to the very first BNB Sparky series. I'm here with Ed Arendt, State General Manager of the Schneider Electric business for Queensland, Victoria and Tasmania.
Morning, Matty.
Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
We're a little bit stiff, I need to relax a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little
Bear
bit...
with me.
Big day, but I'm sure we'll loosen up as we get along.
We are here at the Gabba, obviously my favourite day of the working year, which is the Club Clipsal Charity Luncheon. Today we are supporting the Beyond Blue charity.
Yes.
So we'll get into that in a little while. Firstly, thanks for coming on. Basically, those that are familiar with the other podcasts we do obviously know that they talk a bit of sport and we talk a bit of rubbish, but I did want to do a bit of a series that focuses in on my other passion, which is the electrical industry. So as one of the industry heavyweights, how
do I take that? No. Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you coming on, and obviously it's a very busy day for us, so we've got a bit to do. I want to take everyone back to the very first day of Ed Arendt's journey in the electrical industry. Where did you start? Where did it all happen?
All right. Well, firstly, thanks for having us. It's a good day for us, and it's a very special day for us as a business and for our charity. Wow, going right back, it's been a while for me. 30 years this year in the electrical industry. 30 years, almost end of the year where I started. Started as an apprentice. Actually started as a mechanical apprentice and then as electrical apprentice straight after that. So started for a company that was called Asset in those days. My first actual day as an apprentice was actually I think about the 3rd or 4th of Jan, but I actually started pretty much straight out of school. Got the apprenticeship, picked that career.
Did you have Schoolies Week back then? So I did Schoolies Week and then started with that on the Monday after. So did they have Schoolies back then?
Not sure. Well, I'm sure there was Schoolies back then, but growing up in a small country town now, I think our Schoolies are a little bit different than today's Schoolies on the Gold Coast. I think actually talking about, I think a few of my mates and I, we went camping for the weekend. That was our Schoolies. So
that's very good.
And all of us, I think out of the 4 of us that went away camping, we all had a job to start the next week. So
yeah, cool.
Yep.
What do you think's the biggest change you've seen in our industry in that 30 years?
Oh wow, the industry's definitely changed, no question. We've gone from the traditional stuff hasn't changed. Electrical industry really hasn't changed. The principles haven't changed. It's how we use electricity has changed. As you know yourself, mate. Everything's connected. No one wants to wait for anything anymore. Everything's instantaneous and everything's connected. Gone is the days of just making something, screwing on the wall and walking away from it. Everyone wants to be able to control it, talk to it, and have it do something that it's never has before. And we still, imagine if we look back in another 20 years to see how it's evolved if it's changed so much in the last 20, what it's going to look like in the next 20.
I had that conversation with someone yesterday that we really, if you're building a new home now and not thinking of the next 5 to 10 years of what that might look like, then you're probably doing a disservice to that house because it's going to sit there for 20, 30, 40 years. Yes, we renovate houses, but nowhere near as often as we renovate commercial buildings. So, the infrastructure you're putting in a house now is critical with all the changes that we're seeing.
So it's funny you say we don't renovate homes that often now. I think we will. I think we'll probably do a lot more of it. Hence, we play a big part of that because selling a house that you build now in 10 years will have to be different than it is now because it'll evolve so quickly. I think we'll start to see a whole lot more people do more renovations electrically than they do now. Yeah. To be relevant.
Yeah, true. What do you think is our biggest challenge in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the industry?
Yeah.
I think our biggest challenge is making sure that we don't give away what the expertise that our industry brings. As technology changes, experience changes, people do trades and learn a skill that stops people from getting killed at home or electrocuted. Really making sure we value that and that we don't undercharge that going forward because we'll spend more time doing what we do. We want to spend more time at home enjoying our lives. We have to be really, really careful that our industry doesn't give that away for free as we become more and more challenged with overseas markets and imported, even contractors, but really making sure that we really understand the value that the electrical industry brings.
What about two of your biggest passions colliding? You've got cars
Yes.
and electricity.
Cars and electricity, yeah.
Electric vehicles, obviously, they're a bit of a buzzword at the moment, and it will take a little bit of time for them to really ingrain themselves into Australian society, but it seems like it's happening quicker than expected.
It is, yeah. I think it's interesting you say that because right now I'm actually, really interested in, do I buy an electric vehicle? I'm actually considering one myself, and I don't think it'll be too far away that they'll be normal. Half of our fleet at work could possibly be. You and I could both have one, Matt.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to draw electricity from the car into my house to top it up during those peak times, do you think?
Yes, you are. Yes. And that's the evolution we'll really see. Like we go back to that renovating, when we see the electrification of vehicles become the mainstream, and all manufacturers are doing it, there's no question. It's becoming the norm, and okay, the urban CBDs will be probably more so, but I was in Townsville just early this week and we were talking to a contractor about, hey, electric vehicles, you think it's going to go up here? And they said, oh, I don't think so, it's so far away. And literally, during the conversation, a Tesla drove past us and he goes, well, clearly I'm wrong,
And then there's obviously the highway all the way from Cairns to Brisbane now that you can drive your electric vehicle and charge the whole way.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you just get back to your question, as that network of vehicle grows, so does the electrical storage capacity that we have. You don't need a battery on your wall at home or a solar panel. Solar panel will produce the power, charge your car, drive your car, come home. What's left in your car, run your house with. It's the reverse back powering the house. So it will change dramatically, and the more people understand that, and again, coming back, let's make sure that we don't give that away for free, but that's the investment we're all making in the next 50 years of our industry.
I was trying to, me, I sit there watching a lot of sports on the weekends. I caught a little bit of the Le Mans 24-hour, and I was surprised to hear the commentary team say this event has to go more renewable, as it was quite surprising the carbon footprint that race leaves. One race on the calendar, and it leaves a massive carbon footprint. So they're mindful of the fact that their industry's changing. Formula F1, they're already hybrids, right? More about that than me, but they're already hybrids, and you've also got the Formula E that maybe if all the personalities from Formula One picked up and went to Formula E, I would say Formula E would already be more popular than...
Yeah, well, Formula E, the initial testing and the driving they've been doing is the torque and the speed these things have got is unbelievable. The acceleration is not seen before. So just go back to Le Mans, go back 5 years ago, maybe a bit more than 5 years ago, but we started running diesel cars. Everyone's going, oh, this is crazy, We've used race fuel for a reason for years and years, and suddenly diesel cars become the norm, and now we're moving to electricity to actually reduce that carbon footprint.
Quickly moving away from diesel already again.
Yeah, absolutely. But, no one ever thought that diesel would be, and we evolved so quick in that carbon space.
So we've got into another one of your passions, which is motorsport. Yeah. Where did that begin? What?
Yes, that's true. I've had a very strong passion for motorsport. Been lucky to be around it for pretty much a majority of my life now. I was working part-time actually at a mate's panel beating shop.
Yeah.
Doing after-school work, earning a bit of pocket money. Always liked cars. I've always been working on cars, and there was a panel shop that I was helping actually. I think I was actually doing one of my cars as a kid. And he had a speedway car, an open-wheel speedway car, and started working for him and pretty much started travelling with him doing speedway. We did really well. We built a couple of cars, and that just evolved to different types of motorsports, a very connected industry. Got to know a few people, travelled a bit. Was lucky enough to travel around the world.
Ended up at the Nürburgring, is that right?
Yes. Lucky enough to be at the Nürburgring a few times. We did the 24-hour race, worked for an Australian, again, through same connected people, a group of mates. Got to know 3 guys that self-funded a car and took it 3 years in 5 to the Nürburgring and run the 24-hour race.
Very cool. That's... I was quite embarrassed when I found that out, actually, Ed, because I always talk to you about motorsport, and I think I know what I'm talking about, whereas you actually know what you're talking about.
I'd probably like to be more involved these days, but obviously time's a bit poor. My son's just got into go-karting, so it's a new venture in the motorsport, but it's really just hanging on to that. But definitely a supercar fan, F1 fan, no question.
Very
Go
cool.
anywhere I can.
Well, that's awesome. We won't go into it too much. Collingwood, though.
Ooh.
Not enough tattoos and too many teeth to be a Pies supporter. So how did that start?
Don't actually know how I ever become a Pies supporter because no one in my family followed Collingwood. Everyone was either Hawthorn or the Kangaroos back then. And I somehow just popped out to be the odd one, and maybe it's, I don't know. I have got all teeth.
They're all your own.
And I'm not covered from full sleeves, and they are all my own teeth, thanks back. But the Pies have, they've just been my footy side for a long, long time. And
they're going all right this year.
They are going all right this year. I still haven't got over last year, and I think we'll need to win the flag before I get over last year. But, they're going really, really well.
Could be worse. You could be a Titans fan.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I know you're passionate about that.
It's been a rough year.
But that was us a couple of years ago. It changes really quickly.
Club clips, obviously, why we're here today. It's a very important part of the industry. It's a massive thing that we do. Do you want to talk a little bit about your passion for club clips and what you think its best assets are and where we're headed?
Okay, and yes, I'd love to, because for me, club clipsal is a really key part, and I know it's under our brand. There's no question about that. But I guess we really see it as it's about bringing like-minded electricians and contractors together to do what we like to do. And contractors, we have great success, and just by bringing them together, we put on events that are either social, business-related, business forums, networking events, and then even like today, we every 2 years we pick the advisory board pick a new charity that's always a charity that's doesn't get a whole lot of money from the government. Beyond Blue this year, it's very very close to many people.
Yes,
it's a really, really good charity, and we really just try and leverage the club and use the generosity of all of our members to help raise money for them. Queenslanders are very good at it. They always have been.
This has always been a great event. It's definitely my favourite day of the working year. Beats working, that's for sure.
Well, it is working, Matty. So we get to do it for a job.
It is good. What we talked before about consumers changing. Obviously, our customers are changing as well. What do we need to do at a club level to make sure that we change with our customers there? Sorry, that's a bit of an on-the-spot question for you.
All right. No, what do we need to do with our customers, you mean?
What do we need to do so that we stay relevant for them in their businesses?
I think just be really aware that we are really trying to help them stay relevant. That is the right word. Relevant is the key. We're at the forefront of technology. We lead technology as an organisation, and I'm talking about ours at the moment.
Yep.
So it's our responsibility to actually help bring our members and general electricians and contractors along. Many of them are much smarter than we will ever be, no question. But everyone needs to bounce ideas and check and change. And we couldn't do what we do in design-wise without these people. Everything that we do is by feedback of what needs to happen and constantly wanting to be relevant. So
definitely.
Yeah. So I think your question about being relevant is the key. What is relevant? Relevant changes every day.
Yeah. Before I let you go, we've got people starting to filter in here. I've got 3 questions for you that I want to finish with. Sort of a rapid fire setup. We try and do this in our beers and banter format. First one, favourite bar you've had a drink in the world?
Favourite bar I've had a drink in would have to be the top of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel in Singapore.
Hopefully back there next year with the club.
Yes, definitely back there next year. That would be the plan, and maybe even before that. But
that'd be nice.
Best view in the world for a drink.
Favourite athlete of all time?
Favourite athlete of all times? Michael Schumacher.
Schumacher. Very good. Righto, last one. Any 4 people from history over for a barbecue? Who do you invite and what are you cooking?
Oh, jeepers.
Alive or dead, doesn't matter.
Alive
I'll bring them back for you.
Definitely have Michael Schumacher, there's no question.
Yep.
Probably Swanee from the Pies. And I'm not sure what we'd have to eat. Probably steak on the barbie. Other 2? I don't really know that. It's a good question. They'd probably be either footy or motorsport. You'd be welcome anytime, Matt, you know that.
That sounds good.
But yeah, they would be definitely sports professionals. Tiger Woods, I think, would probably be definitely on the table. He'd be there. I'm not sure what I'd cook him.
Interesting chat that would
be. A
be.
good chat for Dylan, who see what he'd bring. Yeah, and I'd say there'd be a large number of people that work in our organisation would be more than welcome there as well. So
great answer. All right, Ed, I'll let you get back to it. We've got a busy day. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Matty. Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.